Hey Jensen, welcome to another episode of Marvel Future Fight. Today we're gonna jump into a little sneak peek that we got from the developers over at Netmarble forums for Marvel Future Fight. We looks like we're gonna get our next update, the V735, which is technically kind of the mid-month update, and we're gonna get more than just what we expected. Meaning, I thought that we were just gonna get, Rhodey. In terms of that, you know what I mean? Like, I thought we were just going to get War Machine, but looks like we're getting more. We're going to actually see, let's turn this down. We're going to actually be getting Loki, and it looks like we're going to be getting 2 of his uniforms, which is pretty cool. If you saw the previous video, basically what we've got inside there is the Loki from the TVA Authority, which was inside the Disney Plus series, which just recently ended not too long ago. And yeah, so Loki's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool that they're giving us this, and it, you know, kind of lets us know that we might get some more stuff from the series that are currently going. So that means that, you know, we could possibly get some of the stuff from the What If series, meaning we could get, you know, Captain Carter. We could get a lot of things that are going on with the Disney Plus series. It's pretty cool. I like it because it essentially means that we can get things as well inside Marvel Future Revolution, hopefully, that appear inside the MCU universe as well. Loki has been a great character for me inside of the Marvel Future Fight game, mostly because personally I like villains. I've said this before, and with Loki, I think in some respects, while he's been a great character, he's had like a lot of different uniforms. So now when Loki was actually good in the game, I never really used them, to be perfectly honest. But we've got a number of Loki uniforms. This is the most recent one we got. I believe we just got this one this year, which is kind of funny, where we got Loki, Agent of Asgard. And this uniform was pretty damn dope, if you ask me. It was pretty cool. Was it going to hold up inside some of the current meta? Probably not. It didn't give him that boost or anything. Like, you can even see inside here, basically all he got was an increase of chain hit damage by 10% when attacking. He did get a massive number of skill reworks, which was really cool. 7 in fact, which was awesome. And he got his T3 with this uniform, which was also great as well. But overall, the character, like, he shined in terms of, like, yeah, he was probably going to be good for World Boss Ultimate, but probably not a dead ringer for World Boss Legend. So over the years, we did get some other uniforms for Loki. You probably remember this from the MCU, from the television show as well. Classic Loki look, which a lot of people didn't like. To be honest with you, I didn't like these at all. We got one of these for Loki, one of these for Hyperion, was this cell shaded costuming. I don't know why they did this. It was just so out of character for the game that, yeah, it didn't feel good. You could purchase that crystal for 750 crystals. I probably will never even touch this uniform unless they put it in there for freaking gold, and even then, unless it was probably tied to some uniform for which I probably wouldn't use it. We also had Thor Ragnarok Loki, which was a pretty decent uniform for quite a bit of time. You probably really still are required to kind of level up this uniform, simply because it was part of the legendary pack for Thor's Ragnarok, and it was a guaranteed way for you to get a nice premium card. So it's probably still one of those uniforms that you're going to want to level up. Then we had the Lady Loki. For you guys that don't know, Loki has on more than one occasion been ambivalent about his sex and gender identity, and that's well beyond the years that we are now. Like, having a Lady Loki inside the game and in general, let's not go there, but this has always been. And, you know, Loki even confirmed that, you know, he's kind of like he swings any way he feels like when he feels like it. So, you know, that's Loki. I mean, the damn dude was dating himself inside the Loki animated series. And then right here we had Loki the Avengers from the movie, the original one. I like this costume probably the least of all the costumes. I don't know what the hell was going on. The border phrase just looked like zippers for some reason to me. But this Agent of Asgard uniform, we'll take a look at some of these skills. So basically we got a message from Net Marvel said, "Greeting agents, this is CM Fragment. Marvel Future Fight. Authorities have caught Loki variant threatening to overthrow our timeline. He seems to be cooperating for now. However, sources say they were seeking for another Loki with other nefarious intentions. Agents keep a lookout of the variants inspired by Marvel Studios' Loki coming soon." So inside the preview trailer, you basically get the TVA variant Loki, you know, the Loki Laufeyson, with him wearing the TVA jacket, and then you get the Vote Loki uniform. So Vote Loki was an interesting comic series inside the Marvel universe. Basically, I don't know how to say this, and I don't want to fucking pull anybody's tongue because I don't want to get political with this or whatever, but it was a the comic book was basically like a satire of the 2016 election in the United States. I really don't care how you vote. I don't want to make this channel about politics and stuff like that, but it was basically just a throwaway kind of 4-part comic book series inside there that was like making fun of the 2016 presidential election. Inside the comic book, basically you have a reporter. Her name is Nisa Contreras. You know, that's like a bit character inside Marvel Cinematic, inside the Marvel universe. So she's not even really important. But what happens inside the comic books kind of is, where basically Loki is indicative of a dirty politician, and his tagline is in the comic book series is "Be Live." Believe, but it's with LIE capitalized, so he's gonna lie. And he makes it clear to Nisa Contreras, who is basically trying to pin Loki to the wall to try to show everybody, you know, this is who this person really is. And in the comic book series, Loki is dead set on that. You know what? I really don't care. I'm going to tell you whatever I want to tell you, and I'm going to tell the American people whatever I want to tell them, and they're going to fall for it hook, line, and sinker regardless of what I say or what I do. He literally goes on a campaign, you know, all the usual stomping grounds that we always have politicians campaigning in, you know, the swing states in the US, and he basically is like, you know, I'm going to lie to the people, and the people are going to love it. And, you know, for better or for worse, yeah, they actually do love it. He legitimately lies to them, and they love it. Like, I think in the first issue, it's funny because he's talking to J. Jonah Jameson, and J. Jonah Jameson is just a funny enough character as it is, especially with his relationship to villains and superheroes, especially Spider-Man. And he basically tells J. Jonah Jameson all about the stuff, and, you know, J. Jonah Jameson's just eating the shit up because it's J. Jonah Jameson, right? And that's where he basically begins his campaign. And then, like, you know, he comes even after that, and he's like, you know, like, it's hard to describe this without making this political, so I'm gonna try to skip over everything that's there. But basically, Loki does everything and anything that he can do inside this comic book series to basically show how vile a person he is and how much he's lying to the people. And the American people that follow him are just brainwashed, and they are like, you know what, this is it, I'm all invested on this dude. And it gets to the final latter point of the story with the penultimate chapter, and Loki inside that chapter ends up coming out and conceding the election after he basically comes over and he tells Nisa Contreras, you know, he did this all to promote her and help her career and stuff like that. And he kind of like talks to somebody, you know, on the phone or whatever, and he says, you know, some candidate, he says, you know, where's his compensation for making himself look like a fool on television? And then he concedes and stuff like this or whatever, which is kind of in keeping with the Loki character. He always has this long scheme that nobody really knows what he's doing, but he's just doing it for fun. He doesn't really care about the end result, about whether or not, you know, he's on the winning side or whether he's on the losing side, so much so that he just does his thing. Like, if you've watched the Loki series on spoilers ahead, at one point the TVA is basically saying like Loki he's intrinsic to the Avengers. Without Loki, you know, the Avengers wouldn't exist. They don't have a reason to unite, and Loki brings that about. And in the same way, he's a variant, so Loki's variants are running throughout time because Loki's like a hinge point. You know, he's not a Nexus level being, but he is a hinge point for a lot of things that happen inside the world and need to happen inside the world, because essentially Loki makes them happen. And the TVA basically uses Loki to hunt down one of his most powerful forms, a female, which is just funny as hell. I don't want to give away too much for that, but Loki ends up falling in love with a variant of himself, a female Loki. And inside the series, you also get to see, you know, President Loki there when he's betraying the rest of these Loki variants inside the world. And it's just... I love the Loki series. I thought the way they played on Loki's character in order to show him as this god being, or whatever you want to call it, you know, he's a god level being, and he has this, you know, just this thrill to just be involved in everything, but it plays off a lot of his things, so I really like it. So let's take a look at some of what we got inside here. Now when we look at what this costume's coming with, I can't imagine what the upgrades will be to the costume, because let's take a look at some of his skills first. So first skill right here is just sword slash, and he forms some ice, which is kind of keeping with the character because Loki is a frost giant. His father is Laufeyson, and you know, so he is a frost giant. I like the first skill, really nice. Loki's second skill opens up, it's pretty decent. We've got a third skill here that Loki gets a bunch of iframes on, pretty damn cool. His fourth skill, he summons multiples of himself to attack, which has sort of always been something that we've had with Loki. Inside the television show, you see Loki, the main Loki that we know, trying to fight to, you know, have the power level to make these illusions and stuff like that, compared to some of his other Loki variants. Even like that skill looks dope. Look at the hits on that fifth skill, and his sixth skill is absolutely amazing. Okay, I fucked that up because my SFX are off. So Loki comes off his throne and he goes through a bunch of his different variations inside here. So let me turn this the SFX on because it's better looking there. So let's do that over. So let's get his 5 skill, where you can see, there you go. I swear to God, the more and more I watch video games now, I just automatically assume Bijudamas for everybody, right? Loki's over here powering up the Spirit Bomb. He's like, yo, come on, Spirit Bomb, crush. An explosion. Let's see this 5th skill now. All right, so here we go with his tier 3. I know a lot of people were happy that he got tier 3, sitting on his throne, drinks from his chalice, and then he goes through all his various costumes that we've gotten over the years for him. Now, the one costume that we haven't got that I'd be really excited to get is his kid variant costume. So, yeah, so like let's exit out of this real quick, and I'll tell you why I was a little disappointed that we're not getting his kid variant costume yet, just because his kid variant was probably one of his more popular forms. Loki does have the ability, his passive, he's increasing skill damage to 50%, so, and then he's getting another 30% increase of energy attack. So these two right here, passives, are pretty damn good. His leadership, not really much to write home about, and then you can see some of his skills right here. It's not a lot, you know what I mean? Like when you look at some of the skills that he has inside here, his best one here is going to be his 5th skill. So that's what I meant by this costume gave him a lot in terms of, like, you know, boosting him. Now we're going to get a TVA variant, and we're going to get the Vote Loki President costume. This is not without precedent since our Marvel Future Fight, because basically we've had over the years synergy costumes, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So like if I was to pull up a character like Captain America, for instance, and I go inside his uniforms, I don't know why I did that, we're inside his uniform list. Captain America actually has uniforms that are synergy uniforms. So if I look at, where is his uniforms? You can see how many damn uniforms this dude's got. So for instance, his team suit uniform, right, is a synergy uniform. So basically, if you level up one uniform, you level up the other. Now you still got to pay the cost, but there was like a decrease in cost for basically purchasing the other one. I think it was like 40% off for the other uniform if you purchase the other one. So they don't cost a lot. But if you looked at it, his Marvel's Avengers in-game uniform and the team suit, they create a synergy, and you get those activated synergy bonuses for them. Basically, level up one uniform completely, and you're gonna get the bonus option for that uniforms if you have the synergy uniform. So you know, we'll probably be able to purchase both uniforms. For Loki, we'll get his TVA variant and his TVA variant and his Vote President Loki uniform, which should be cool. Now, I wish that we were getting maybe the kid version of Loki, because I really like that. And typically, the thing that I hate about seeing certain versions not included in a character is like a character like Captain America. If you look at all the variations of I've never really looked at this uniform more than I have right now, but hey, my mans, this looks like Rob Liefeld right here. If you know, you know. This chest looked all fucked up in that one. Like, if you've seen the Rob Liefeld drawing, then yeah, then you know what I'm talking about. But this has gotten Rob Liefeld written all over it right here. But basically, when we typically get characters, I think like some characters have fallen, you know, predator to it in terms of transactions, because you have like, you know, characters like Spider-Man, you know, Wolverine, Captain America, who never really hit their potential because Netmarble seems to understand that they can milk people for these costumes. Because, you know, Spider-Man's going to have 101 costumes, and I'm going to be able to milk the player base dry, because we're probably going to lap up every costume that they have to release. So it's like one of those weird parts inside there, right? And so I hope Loki doesn't become that, where we never really get to see his full potential, because they always know that they're going to have a different variant costume for Loki to come out with. Like, you know, we still got Kid Loki, who's probably the most popular incarnation of Loki right now, and we don't have him yet. You know, he was in there inside the series, inside the Loki series on Disney Plus. There's no reason why he won't be in here. And to have two Loki variant uniforms, basically, where we have President Loki, which was, while it was a, you know, a big comic book series issue, and wasn't really that big of a comic book series issue, and you have the TVA variant Loki as well. I think it would have probably been better to have the TVA variant and the Kid Loki. That's not to say we won't get Kid Loki down the road, especially the more that we get the Young Avengers looking like they're being built up inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We may get Kid Loki later down the road, which would be a good way to keep Loki around or bring him back, however you want to market that. But I don't know about you guys, but I mean, this is going to seem like a really spicy mid-month. We don't have to worry about too much about, you know, Loki interfering with War Machine coming into the game and possibly getting his T3, because Loki already has his T3. So I think the only other person that we could worry about them coming out the woodworks and be like, hey, you know what? We've got, instead of, you know, giving you Loki T3, we're gonna give you Hela T3 or something like that, and then we get screwed over for War Machine, which would just be that would be something I could see Netmarble doing. I hate to say it, but there's a tier class for how they treat characters inside this game, with the exceptions of some like my man Falcon over here. But all right, guys, until next time, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, like and subscribe. Peace.